I was a very, very, very weird child. Very weird child. And I had a port wine stained birthmark on my face that I got lasered off when I was very young, and one day they forgot to put the anaesthetic on, and then ever since then I had a stutter. And I also had very, very big blue NHS glasses. NHS is the National Health Service. One day I hope you'll have the same. Just saying. And I lacked an eardrum on one side of my face, so one side of my ear. Stuttering was actually the least of my problems when I went to school. But it was still quite a difficult thing. And the thing that I found most difficult about it was knowing what to say, but not really being able to express it in the right way. So I did different speech therapies and stuff, which wasn't very successful. But I got heavily into music at a young age, and got very, very into rap music. Eminem was the first album that my dad bought me. It's all storytelling. So my dad bought me the Marshall Mathers LP when I was 9 years old, not knowing what was on it, and let me listen to it. And I learned every word of it back to front by the age I was 10. And he raps very fast and very melodically and very percussively, and it helped me get rid of the stutter. And then from there, I just kind of carried on, did some music, and but it's. I think the one thing I wanted to convey in my speech today for not so much the adults here, because I feel like the adults are fine. You're all sorted. Everyone here's got a lot of money and everyone's chilling. But more the kids that I hear that are going through the therapy, and I want to stress the point that it's not, stuttering is not a thing you have to be worried about at all. And even if you have quirks and weirdness, you shouldn't be worried about that. I think the people that I went to school with were the most normal and were the coolest when we grew up. Like I was telling Emily earlier that one of the cool kids from school now does my plumbing. So that's a fact. That's a fact. So my thing that I wanted to stress most tonight is not necessarily to shed light on stuttering or make it a thing. Is to just stress to kids in general is to just be yourself, because there's no one in the world that can be a better you than you. And if you try to be the cool kid from class, you'll end up being very boring. Embrace your quirks. Being weird is a wonderful thing. And from a stuttering point of view, don't treat it as an issue. You know, work through it and get the treatment that you want to get, but don't ever treat it as an issue, and don't see it as a blight on your life, and carry on pushing forward. And I did all right. You can do all right as well. Emily did all right. Nice one. Thank you.
You spoke about something that I think is really important and brave, that you didn't intend to speak about, but that you have Tourette syndrome and that it comes out at certain times. But I think that's amazing that you spoke about it, because you kind of take away the, scariness of it. It's something I've lived with my whole life, and everybody knows, like everybody in my family, all my friends, all the people that are closest to me know I have it, and it's not anything different, And I just never said anything because I didn't want that to define who I was. I didn't want it to be like Billie, the artist with Tourette's. Billie Eilish is on Ellen. Yeah. I have ways of kind of making them go away. So if I'm on if it's like an on-camera interview or whatever. That's what this is. Yes, it is. But normally, if it's like a pre-taped thing, they cut out the questions. Right. And that's when I let them out. But then there was this one interview where they didn't tell me they weren't going to cut the questions out. So I'm sitting there answering the questions like, and then they start asking me a question, and I'm like, and then everyone's like, that's so funny. And they made a whole, there was tons of compilations like, this is so funny that Billie did this facial expression, when really it's just a bunch of ticks. Right. Well, no, I think like I said, I think it's a good thing that you because I'm sure a lot of people have that, and it's look at where you are and look at what you have accomplished, and you haven't let that, even make you feel like there's something wrong with it, because it's not. It's just part of who you are. I think I also really learned that a lot of my fans have it. Yeah. Which made me feel kind of more at home with saying it. Yeah. Because I remember and also I felt like there was a connection there. I felt like when I said that, there were kids that were posting and being like, oh my God, I've always had this. Yeah. Now she has it, and she's who I can
look up to with it. But
yeah, no, I think like I said, I think a lot of people watching now that, you know, maybe didn't hear you say it before will be like, well, I have it too, and that's great.
Hey, check, yeah, 1, 2, test, hey.
Sounds good, Nick.
Hey, you know what? Give me 1 minute. Be right back. Getting diagnosed with type 1 diabetes was definitely one of the most frightening moments of my life. I was 13 when I was diagnosed. I started to see a change physically, 20 pounds in 2 weeks. I was really irritable and just drained overall. And I went to the doctor, they did a bunch of tests, and they saw that my blood glucose was through the roof. And I was scared at the idea that I wouldn't get to do what I loved. And all these dreams I had, that they would all just end. So I really made a commitment to myself that I would take control and I would not let it slow me down. And now, thankfully, I'm doing all the things I was dreaming about, acting, performing, and living with a non-stop schedule, all because I've found a way to manage my diabetes.